Oh no. Good morning, good morning. Yes, it's here. I'm here. And it's being one of those days already. So let's see here. Oh man, I even forgot to send out the invites. Okay, where is the devil is it here? Oh, shoot. I accidentally closed my X. There we go. Anyway, it's been a interesting weekend. I ended up working a lot more hours than what I should, and I have not been paying any attention to the news or anything else this week or this weekend. So that's why today's stream is like, whatever happens, happens type stream. A few things that did pop up when I was looking at stuff this morning. Uh, Tim Scott dropped out from running for president, which, okay, that's not unexpected nor surprising. And let's see here. I had to go on a shopping trip with the wife this weekend. And let's see here if I can open these two pictures. And I happen to find something on the uh, when I was out with the wife. I had to take pictures of it. Let's see. Come on, come on. Open image in new tab. There it is. Thank you. Alright. And obviously, I sent pictures. I sent them to Jack, our comic book uh, expert, and just so that he could get a kick out of it. We Okay, what in the devil was that? Why did my phone just beep at me? Oh, yeah, I know. My cable bill is due. Yes. I know my cable bill is due. Anyway, I saw this on the sidewalk. Now, we all know what self-inserts are. Been seeing them a lot here in comics past couple of years. The authors self-inserting themselves or what they wish they were into the comics. Well, now you can literally, anybody can self insert themselves into a comic. Let's see how well this shows up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not the best way to do it, but what the hey. It You go in the old fashioned photo booth, take pictures of yourself, and self insert you into a comic. Yay! And let's see here. What kind of comics can you self insert you into? Well, let's see. You can get into Iron Man or Venom, Thor, Doctor Strange. Well, there's another Thor. That's not. Yeah, just self insert yourself to any one of these five comic books. Couple of Thors, a Venom, Doctor Strange, Iron Man. Yay! Now, did I do that? No. But if Marvel's looking for a way to make some money, there you go. If you think you're a superhero, look, try to find a Marvel Adventure Lab. My only surprise is that DC doesn't have one out there right next to it. Self-insert yourself into a Batman or a Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman. So have all kinds of fun with that. Let's see what else popped up here. Oh, yes, my favorite. Absolutely favorite. All of our favorite female athlete. Megan Rapinoe says championship injury is proof that there is not a God. There is no God, or else she would not have been hurt. U.S. soccer star Megan Rapinoe did her best to laugh off an injury she suffered in the final match of her career on Saturday. She went down in the 6th minute as the OL Reign lost to the Gotham FC in the National Women's Soccer League Championship on Saturday. She tore her Achilles tendon. In the post-match press conference, Rapinoe said she's going to get the Aaron Rodgers treatment and try to recover. I'm not a religious person or anything, and if there was a God, this is proof that there isn't. This is effed up. It's just effed up. 6 minutes in and I eat my Achilles. Oh, Megan, what, you think you're so special? You're uh, such a protected person in your own mind, that you are so godlike in your own mind, that because you got hurt, that's proof that there isn't a God? Poor Megan. Because, you're such a wondrous and an amazing person that for you to suffer any kind of an injury, that's just proof there isn't a God, because if there was a God, they would have reached down from the heavens above and protected you from that injury. They would have healed you immediately. Poor Megan. But because you're hurt, well, that's just proof there is no God. Poor little girl. Megan tried to make a play on defense when she went down with a non-contact injury. As in, nobody touched her. And Moshe Rapinoe was tended by medical staff before leaving the game, ending her night in career. Before leaving the game, Rapinoe hugged former United States women national teammate Ali Krieger, who plays for the Gotham FC, was also playing her final professional game. Everyone was like, "Who kicked me? Who kicked me? Somebody had to kick me to make me hurt." And obviously no one was around me, and I was pressing. That's what I felt like, just a huge pop. I can't even feel where my Achilles is, but I'm sure I tore it. The worst possible outcome. Megan, maybe the fact you got hurt 6 minutes into the final game is proof that there's a devil, and he was just proclaiming his own, claiming his own from you. But who knows? I mean, do I believe in a God? Yeah. And do I believe in Lucifer? Yes. I know that if there's a God, there's a Lucifer. I just don't blame all my injuries and everything else as proof that there isn't one. Megan. Okay, I meant to post this and I'm going to post it and lock it. Um, Somebody that we all know, James Colley. He has got a GoFundMe that he just posted yesterday. And whoop, no, I don't want to put myself in a timeout. Oh, I guess I need to open up open up my own stream here. View on YouTube, and so I can pin this message. If anybody has a few extra shekels, uh, if you got a few extra shekels here, please go visit James Colley. He could use some assistance. No, I do not want to watch football live all season long. Hey, morning, Retro. But yeah, the if you got a few extra shekels in your pocket, James Colley could use some assistance. Most of us know him from Rant Monkey streams. He's a regular over there. Uh, Lost his job, and now he's out of unemployment benefits, and it's getting winter time, and he needs $2,000 to get enough money up to have someplace roof over his head for the next few months while he's looking for a job. So, oh, I closed it, Retro. Um, I should have talked about that at the top of the stream because I really hate shoehorning James in between these two pieces of shit that I've talked about and going to talk about. I hate to shoehorn James in between Rapaho and this other piece of shit here. We're going to taking a jump back into the past, bringing up a name out of the past here. We all remember Amos Yee. Well, evidently he was on parole and he violated parole. And he's back in jail. Amos Yee, a registered sex offender, is being held at a maximum security prison in the U.S. state of Illinois. He'd been out on the 25-year-old had been released on parole only a month ago, halfway through his 6-year term. In response to queries, the Department of Corrections said Thursday Yee was readmitted on a parole violation. That's the only information we can provide. Prison records seen by the CNA show that Yee's projected parole date is now October 8th, 2026, which is also his projected discharge. Yee was released on parole on October 7th, about halfway through his 6-year term, for grooming a teenage girl online and asking her for naked pictures. Yee was sentenced in 2021 after pleading guilty to charges of grooming and possession of child pornography. 16 other charges were dismissed as part of the plea deal that Yee agreed to. The jail term was backdated to his arrest in 2020. In 2015, he was jailed in Singapore for wounding religious feelings by making remarks about Christians. About a year later, he was jailed again on a similar charge for making remarks about Christians and Muslims. I remember when Yee came to the States. Send me a link to that there, will you, Retro? And yeah, when he's looking awful good for being a sex offender in a federal prison. They must have him in a protected status because if I don't know if you know who J.D. DeLay is. He's a former convict. He's a former federal prisoner and who's making the rounds on TikTok and YouTube and other Instagram and such, talking about his time in prison and what he's trying to do now to help former prisoners. And the way he talks about what happens to people such as Yee with his crime. You retweeted it? Okay. Let's get there. Let's see. Do I have anything there? No. Notifications. Here we go. Runaway. How runaway disability compensation is straining veterans affairs. Okay. But yeah, Amos Yee, I remember when he first come to the States, everybody, he was the fair-haired child. Because how he, his whole thing about being in jail, sentenced to prison time for mocking religions. And then the first thing he does when he gets here is he starts pushing kiddie porn and such. So I've got no sympathy for this man. 6 years isn't near enough time. I wish they had not dropped all the other charges on him. But yeah, let's send his ass back to Singapore. Let's send him to Singapore and just get it over and done with. Okay, so let's go to this uh, Hill article and see exactly how upset I can get over this. Hey, Neil, morning. Oh, the shaman is running for Congress? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that is hilarious. I would vote for him. If I was eligible to vote for the shaman, I would. Just yes. All right. All right, as we celebrate Veterans Day, okay, who wrote this article? Kyle Greenberg, Mark Duggan, opinion contributors. Okay, so this is opinion. It's actually in their opinion, national security. The views expressed by contributors are their own and not the Hill. The view of the Hill. Okay, nice little piece of disclaiming all responsibility. All right, as we celebrate Veterans Day this year on the 50th anniversary of America's all volunteer force, growing concern about the federal debt, looming budget impasse, and crisis of military recruiting prompt us to call attention to the causes and consequences of the immense growth in the budget for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. From 2000 to 2022, the overall VA budget grew from 76 to 267, despite a 28% decline in veteran population over the same period. As a result, the annual spend by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs per veteran has almost quintupled from 3,000 to 14,000. Some of this growth has been driven by the aging veteran population, okay, rising healthcare prices, and the much needed improvements to the VA uh, healthcare facilities. All right. So, as part of this aging veteran who is on disability, the World War II, Korean War, conscripted uh, population has died out, or is on the end, or on the very end of dying out here. The Vietnam conscripted era is in the beginning stages of that dying out. They're in the, let's see, 1972, I believe, was the last of the conscripts or draftees. So that would put them 6 years older than I am. So that put them into their 70s. The youngest of them would be in their 70s. All right. So that's of the conscripts. I'm of the draftees. I'm not talking about volunteer forces here, retro. All right. And then we entered the 20 years of wars in the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, so on and so forth. all starting after the uh, 9/11 in 2001, and a lot of military got injured. And with the improved field medical, people who would have died in the battlefield survived. People survived with lifelong injuries, missing limbs, brain injuries, then got PTSD. Used to be, shell shock, battle fatigue. Now we call it PTSD. And then you have CPTSD, combined PTSD. So yeah, we do have a lot, and then you have just people like me that got. I was never in a combat zone. But I worked on the flight line. Uh, Hearing lost, broken bones, damaged joints, uh, 14 hernias. Was originally called nostalgia. Oh, that. Oh, that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm misreading that. Um. Okay. And yes, the VA healthcare facilities did need improvements. I remember the first time I saw a VA health facility in the 70s and early 80s. They were dumps. They smelled like old time. They A friend of mine's grandfather, when I was growing up, was in an old folks home, and it was. I mean, as you walked up near it, you could. I had a horrendous, horrible smell. And the first time I saw a VA hospital, that's what it reminded me of. It was absolutely horrible looking, looked filthy, did not look like it. I mean, so the VA needed to have improvements to their healthcare facilities. But the biggest contributor to VA's state expanding budget has been the unprecedented increase in veterans enrollment and disability compensation. A VA program designed to compensate Americans veterans for injuries occurred or aggravated during their military service. All right, let me stop you right there. One thing, myself. All right, I retired with disability. For every dollar I get out of the VA disability, I lose a dollar out of my retirement check. We are the military is the only branch of the government that pays for our own disability out of our retirement checks. And the logic behind that is, well, your disability check isn't taxed. So therefore you are getting more money because since your disability check isn't taxed. So I pay for my own disability check. All right. And a lot of people do. pay for their own disability checks because it comes out of their retirement check. U.S. Marshals, anybody else, it doesn't matter. If you're a federal government employee and you've been determined to have a disability due to your job, you get a disability check in addition to your retirement check. That's not. I don't. Let's see if these people are this honest about this. The share of veterans receiving disability compensation benefits is increasing rapidly and is all-time high between 54 and 2000. Gee, I wonder why they stopped at 2000. I wonder why they stopped at 2000 here. Could be because it wasn't until they stopped it just before the attacks at the World Trade Tower. The share of veterans receiving disability compensation is very stable, fluctuating between 8 and 10%. Today, nearly 30% of the country's 18.5 million veterans receive it. Okay, let's do some math. Let's do some math here. 30%, that would be 10% of that would be 1.8. So time multiply 1.8 million, that would be 4.7, 8, 16, 4.4. So 4.4 million veterans receive uh, disability. Now, this disability, let's see here. It's not going to be 100% disability. It could be as little as 10% disability. It could be as little as 10% disability. All right, let me. All right. Okay, Retro, you're right. I'm pissed off here. Okay. Uh, percentage of VA disability under 100%. Okay, let's see here if they what they got going on here. Uh no, 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 no. Okay here. First of all, it's very difficult to get 100% disability. It's very difficult. I'll tell you that from personal experience. All right. Let's see here. And a 100% disability gets $3,621 a month. That not includes non-monetary benefits. Let's see here. That doesn't have it. Here's her stats. Okay. That there's all dealing with payments. Those are payments. Close that. God, I hate pop-ups. All right, here we go. I'm going to show this here. Has that screen popped up yet? Yes. These are the top 10 disabilities. 10 rate at least 10% gets $152 a month. Hearing loss is zero. Limited knee injuries, $150. PTSD is $1,500. Back back issues, 152. Scars get nothing. Paralysis of the sciatic nerve, 152. Limitation range of motion of the ankles. Migraines, rated at 30%. Limitation motion of the arms is 152. Okay. Now, see, I'm at 40% disability. All right, so let's get back to this article here. So as you can see, just because you are on VA disability, you can only be receiving $100 a month, $152 a month. So it's not like nobody gets rich on VA disability. All right. And it is difficult to get VA disability. Not everybody uh, all right. So the share of veterans. So let's stop this nonsense right here. All right. So we got 4.4 million veterans receiving some sort of disability payment. The average payment to veterans receiving has increased substantially to let's see, from 12,020 to 21,000 today. That is a year. 21,000 a year. Okay. Let's see here. Let's also take a look at this. All right. 2,000. Let's see here. 12,000 in 2002 today. Okay. Oh, interesting. Just a coincidence here. Isn't this a coincidence? $12,000 in 2020 in the year 2000 is equivalent to 21,000 today. And what's he? 12,000 in 2000 is equivalent to 21,000 today. So there's no real, the buying power is the same. The buying power is the same here. Holy crap. This growth has been driven by a shift to higher disability ratings since payments are higher for those who are found to be more disabled. But what? From 2000 to 2022, the VA budget grew from $76 billion to $267 billion despite a 30% decline in the veteran population over the same period. As a result, annual spendings, da da da. Did these guys do any kind of research, or they just ignore the research? Did they ignore what I looked at already? For instance, the buying power, $12,000 in the year 2000 versus $12,000 versus today, 22 years later, or 23 years later. You have got to be kidding me. Hey, Tyre, how's it going? As a result, annual spending by the U.S. Department of Veterans per veteran has quintupled from 29,000 to 14,000. And I'm going to make a bet. Let me come back over here to this calculator again. All right. Let's come to this calculator. All right. Let's see here. What does that article say? We'll go 76 billion to today's dollars. So let's come back over this calculator. Close that. And I'll just put in 76. So 76 billion in 2000 is 135 billion today. Okay. And 267 billion. Okay. So, all right. But then again, we've also got more people going into that survived injuries that are lifelong. And let's see, 29,000 to 2,900. 2,900 is what are they complaining about? Per veterans quintupled from 2,900 to 14,500. Some of this rising healthcare prices and all right, I'm coming over. Hey Dar,
Boy,
how's it going?
hey, I finally made one.
Yeah, and you made one that retro threw this up here, threw this article at me.
The hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, good going, retro.
and oh my goodness. So, all right. So, how have you been doing?
I'm busy.
Yeah,
Been busy.
I hope you've been making lots and lots of money.
That's the goal.
Yep, that's a good goal to have, making lots of money, putting it away for your retirement.
Yeah, that's exactly where all of it goes.
Yep. Uh, yeah. Have you been paying attention to this article?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Enlighten me.
All right. This is an article. I'll scroll up here at the top. How runaway disability compensation is straining Veterans Affairs. And Mr. Kyle Greenberg and Mark Duggan are complaining that military disability is too much of a strain on the American populace, on the American taxpayer.
That's a
It,
weird thing to say, but okay.
it's not the it's not the unending illegal population coming in and the money being spent on illegals. Oh no. We're spending too much money on disability for our military who have been permanently injured while on active duty.
Well, okay, so I have my thoughts on this, so I will politely listen to you, then I will share my thoughts.
All right. See, one of their comments here was, uh, uh, as a result, annual spendings by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs per veteran has quintupled from 3,000 to 14,300. But you see, when I come over to the 3,000 and 2,000, all right. But when you look at what $3,000 is in today's money,
Yeah,
$3,000 in today's money is 5,362. So in actual spending, all right, it's only trebled. It's not even trebled, not
yeah,
quintupled. All right. But like they said, a lot of this money also went to uh, rehabbing VA healthcare facilities. It hasn't gone into people's pockets.
yeah.
All right. Another complaint that he had uh, is that 30% of today's 18.5 million veterans get disability. 30% of 18.5, according to my very, very rough math, 30% of that is about 4.4 million. I could be off by a few people, a few either way. All right. $12,000 in 2000. Okay. And additionally, uh, the disability has increased from 12,000 to 21,000. Well, when you look at $12,000 in 2000 to today's dollars, it is 21,000. I've got a CPI inflation calculator running, so that so that my numbers are square. All right, so that I'm showing. All right, you see, I'm running here the CPI inflation calculator. So that does make life a little bit easier. My numbers are pretty straight. All right. So in effect, money per veteran has just stayed steady with inflation.
Pretty
So
much,
it's
yeah.
it, so it's not like they're getting veterans are getting rich. Disabled veterans are getting rich off of their disabilities
No.
between 2000 and today. They're just staying equivalent with inflation. All right, so let's see here. The largest federal Social Security insures 10 times as many adults. Moreover, since veterans receive disability compensation benefits have increased eligibility for VA's healthcare services, the program is rise for disability. And see, another point that they do not point out here is if you get any kind of retirement check from the military, for every dollar you get in disability, you lose a dollar out of your retirement check.
This is true.
All right. So my disability check comes straight out of my retirement check. The only difference is my disability check is not taxed.
Yeah.
That's why they say you actually get a little bit more money because you're not taxed on that income. In comparison, the annual VA spending on education benefits such as GI Bill is just $10 billion. Well, that's because you contribute, where the GI Bill used to be 100% government funded, now it's a contribution.
Yeah.
Therefore, yeah, the VA spending on the GI Bill is going to be a lot less than what it used to be. Veteran Readiness and Reemployment Program designed to help veterans with service-connected disabilities to obtain stable employment is only $1.5 billion. Well, that's because most veterans don't even use that program.
Very
Veteran,
few.
you're right. Veteran Readiness and Employment. Very few vets even use that.
Well, part of the reason is the amount of, the percentage of disability that you need to qualify for that program is quite a high hurdle. And if you look at most of the veterans that that are receiving disability, most of them are receiving like a 10%,
Right.
15%, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Um,
I was trying to find a chart showing uh, how many vets get each one of the disability ratings, but obviously trying to do that on the fly while I'm streaming is not. Uh, I don't
yeah, I'm
have
not even sure that it's out there,
that.
but
That's well, I'm sure the VA's got that in there, and has a graph on that somewhere.
probably, yeah, somewhere. Um,
All right, it's just a matter of trying to find it.
yeah, and that's going to be that in itself can be
All right. Let's see here. The primary driver of the growth, regulatory policy over the past 2 decades, including the most recent 2022 PACT Act, which has made it steadily easier for veterans to apply for and qualify for a broader set of medical conditions. Well, that PACT Act, part of that, the main reason for the PACT Act was because of the burn barrel, the burning pit,
yeah, the burn pit.
the burn pits in the Middle East. And people were getting absolutely destroyed with the lung damage. Self-inflicted. That's self-inflicted. That wasn't even enemy-induced. That's inflicted by our own government on these people. And yeah, it's a broader range of medical conditions. It's broader only in the fact because they realize that they caused their own damage. Because I looked into that PACT Act information. Um, right here. Well, one might attribute the higher rates of disability compensation to receipt to the improved battlefield medicine. Gee, that was the first thing I talked about. Injuries that would have been life-ending in World War I, World War II, even in Korea or Vietnam, people are now surviving. Veterans who have enlisted since 2010 have some of the highest rates of disability compensation enrollment, even though they are significantly less likely to deploy and face substantially lower risk of injury while deployed. Only 1% of Army service members who enlisted between 2010 and 2015 were wounded in combat. I, like I said, I never saw combat. Other than 3 years in Germany in the early 80s, I spent all my time stateside. That didn't stop me from getting injured on the job. People still get, you still have training injuries, not just combat injuries. Considering how much Considering how much easier it is to qualify for disability benefits, perhaps it's unsurprising that 5,000 pilots who passed their Federal Aviation Administration physicals are now under investigation for receiving veterans disability benefits for conditions to disqualify them from the cockpit.
All right, so let's break. Okay, so here's the thing.
I want to take a look at
Um,
this. Yeah, what you got?
all right, so here's the thing, right? A lot of veterans I know personally in my daily life, and I know more than you would think because, but a lot of people I know have like 10%, especially sailors, right? Have 10% because of bad knees and things like that. Well, you spend years walking up and down metal ladders, um, stuff like that. Yeah, it's hard on your knees. All right. So a lot of people I know have like a 10%, just for bad knees. Now, does that disqualify them from a lot of jobs? No, it doesn't. It doesn't disqualify them from most jobs. And because you can put on a knee brace if you have bad knees and still do your work. Now, if your disability claim is that is something that would preclude you from having a job, and then you get that job, that's a different thing. But here is the point where I'm a little upset about this is because the Democrats have been trying to take away retirement pay, reduce retirement pay for years. They've been trying to take away a lot of stuff that we as veterans get after we retire, and as some veterans get, um, even if they don't retire, they've been trying to take that away. But again, what percentage of the population of the United States is a veteran? Um,
What percentage? What?
what percentage of the population is actually a veteran compared to the percentage of the population that gets um, all sorts of safety net stuff, welfare and help with
Right.
different things and
Well, I mean,
that
let's
sort of
just
thing.
look. Let's just take a look at how much money we're spending on illegal immigrants.
Yeah, that
Let's
would
just
put a
take a
lot of
look.
veterans in homes, wouldn't it?
Let's just take a look at that money that we're spending on illegals in this country.
Well,
I
let's
mean,
take a look at how
that
much we're sending to Ukraine.
you know, yeah. I mean, $100 billion. Yeah.
That's not near what we spend on veterans. Not even
Okay.
close.
Now, I just read this article here about these 5,000 pilots who
Yeah.
passed their. Okay, and what it is the article there is saying that the pilots that these 4,800 pilots, um, did not disclose that they were getting disability checks. All right, and did not disclose that some of them did not disclose that they had uh, mental issues, hiding veterans' disability and obscuring health histories, including two whose cases were discovered only after they crashed the aircraft.
Right.
Okay, so you're not going to ever stop people from hiding stuff from their medical. Some pilots may be hiding mental health conditions or fraudulently receiving disability checks, cross-checking, da da da. So yeah, I mean, what's one of the things that I get that people get mad at me for saying? You know, whenever you're dealing with people in any kind of positions, you're always going to have some level of corruption.
Oh yeah.
You're always going to have some level of corruption. You're always going to have some certain level of number of people who are going to lie about what they do or what they've done or what, lie to get benefits, lie to get stuff that they're not, that they're truly not eligible to be getting. But
Right.
they're going to lie about it in order to get it.
Well,
So, and military or not, there's no general classification of people who are more honorable than any other classification of people.
this is true.
You're going to have scum puppies and liars in every job.
Yes, no matter what group of people it is, there's always scumbags out there. And I know for me, you know, when I retired, they said, "Well, you have to go to the doctor and get this check out and all this kind of stuff." So I did, and he said, "Well, you get a 10% disability because you have bad knees." I didn't get any higher rating or anything else for other issues that I sustained while being in the Navy and all that. Um, I did participate in Desert Storm. I did get a combat action medal for it. And that and $5 to get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks, right?
Right.
So I didn't get any higher disability rating or anything like that. And the thing is, the doc says, take the 10% because then that helps you qualify for, federal employment and other things. Gives you leg up for other employment and that sort of thing. So I'm like, all right, whatever, give me the 10%. Um, Knowing what I know now, I probably would have said, nah, it's all right. I don't need it. But yeah, I've never lied about it on a job application or anything. I always just put down, yeah, you know, you have that 10% disability rating. So, but I also don't, walk you know, into a job going, oh, hey, you can't fire me because I'm a disabled veteran. I
Right.
don't do that either.
I mean,
I don't play that card.
when
It's
I
fair.
first got out of the military, and the VA set me in at 40% disability, and I went in, applied for jobs, and I showed them the paperwork and everything, and explained to them what my physical limit. Did I lose opportunities on some jobs because they said, yeah, we just can't have you doing this because you won't be able to fulfill the job requirements. You physically won't be able to fulfill the job requirements. I mean, I have been able to lift over 35 pounds since 1996. I'm not supposed to lift over 35 pounds since 1996. Well, did I lose out even some computer based jobs? Because, yeah, we need you to be able to carry around. lug around some computer equipment and such that you need to be able to lift at least 50 pounds. Which, okay, yeah, that I can, that's that point. So anyway, let's see if VA spending per veteran had remained the same and inflation adjust. You weren't. Oh, now they talk about inflation adjusted terms when you ignored it earlier.
Yeah.
You ignored it earlier.
See, all this is about is, you know, not taking care of veterans, and that's all this is about. It's like this is their way. They think they can reclaim money by taking away our benefits. But the problem is, what they're not seeing is you're not recouping that much money because it's not that big of a population of the United States.
Okay, I just opened up this poll here that they have. Let's see here. In recent surveys, cite concerns about physical injury and psychological distress as top two reasons youth do not consider joining the military. Unfortunately, such narratives crowd out other research, which finds that Army service increases average earnings in the 19 years after enlisting by over 4,000, with black service members and those from disadvantaged backgrounds experiencing even larger gains. VA spending had remained the same in inflation since 2000. Its total budget had been around 60 billion rather than 267 billion. Well, again, how much of that money was spent on building new facilities, getting them out of the shitholes that they were in?
I have no idea because, to tell you the truth, I have not been in a VA facility in uh, 10, 12, maybe longer. Maybe, yeah, probably longer. I've never been in one. I think the last time I was in a VA facility is when I retired, and they made me go to it. Not that I wanted to. You still there, Shroom? Ah, he dropped. Oh, my goodness, he just disappeared. It left me here all by my lonesome to talk about this article in the Hill. Fuck the Hill, yeah, I get you. I get you, man. I get you, Tier. Yeah, so all this really is just Democratic talking points about getting rid of VA requirements. And, um, you know, they made certain promises to us, and um, they need to stick to that. Um, so, but
Okay, I'm
so
back.
here, yeah, good. So here's the other like side of this. Um, I'm not one of these guys that say, all right, I went and I did my time, and I um I didn't I'm not like, oh, they're not taking care of us, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. As a matter of fact, on Veterans Day, I did not even wear any military garb. So I was walking around doing things on Veterans Day, and nobody knew that I was a veteran. There was lots of people rocking around with their retired Army, retired Navy, proud I served, and a lot of these guys are the four and outers, right? Who did their 4 years, got out, now they want
Yeah.
their free meal and that sort of thing. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys. I could care less about that shit. Um,
Yeah.
so
I'm the same way. In fact, I spent Saturday at home. I didn't even go anywhere.
I went quite a few places actually. Um,
Now, this here pisses me off this time here. This sentence. It's time to ask if the increasing generous disability compensation program that has significantly reduced employment among our veterans and bears no resemblance to the program that existed through the latter half of the 20th century is the best way to reward and honor Americans' veterans.
well, let me speak to that for a second. All right. So, in some respects, I'm going to say, well, because this whole thing with Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, right? That's a whole new generation of kids for the last 20 years that they sent over there to fight. And they had no definable exit strategy, no definable, this is what we expect to accomplish, and all that kind of thing. Um, so, yeah, it has created um, a whole group of veterans with unique issues that World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, um, that and then you have the new psychologists and psychiatrists who label almost everybody with anything, PTSD and all this kind of thing. And I will say that because of the IEDs and that, we have a whole lot more people with coming back from war with serious injuries than we did a few years ago, right? So that being said,
Definitely.
I don't think it's more generous than it used to be, but I will say that there are a certain group of veterans out there that are probably getting a whole lot higher percentages than they may need. So in that respect, I kind of get what they're saying, but I think they're mischaracterizing it.
And it's not easy. You know, these guys seem to think that it's easy to get a disability rating.
It's not that. Well, I don't know. I haven't tried in quite a few years.
It, uh,
But so,
it,
my nephew who's still serving, right? Um, Now in boot camp, you can hold up a stress card if they're stressing you out too
oh,
much.
yeah, I've actually heard
And
several people tell me about that, and that is just absolute. What a crock of garbage that is.
yeah, not only that, but if you're on the ship and you get yelled at too much, then you get reprimanded for correcting people. So so is getting a disability rating now harder or easier than it used to be? That's the question. I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much you're right because I mean, I haven't tried to increase my military disability rating at all since I've retired.
Yeah,
I
near have
mean,
I. I had no reason to.
I just basically took what I had and I've
Yeah,
left it
and
at
it's that.
that.
And I'm wondering if this new crop of kids coming out of the military are trying to inflate those, just because they can. So there are questions. I do have questions about that. I don't like the way this was worded. And again, this is just another step towards taking away as much as they can.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it'll take.
Retro. I appreciate that.
I what it makes no damn. Mm, I I've got questions.
Yeah.
I've got questions. I've got anger right now at this. You know, they're
Well,
and what and in the article dealing with the pilots. They're saying, well, a lot of the they're asking about these 5,000 pilots or these 4,800 pilots. Uh, well, how many of them are doing stolen valor? It's now that you again, you know, there is no such thing as a pure service.
no.
You know, you're going to have, and by the way, yes, you can go ahead and use scum puppies all you want there, guy. I'm glad you like that term. Um, yeah, am I smelling toast yet?
Burnt toast.
Yeah, burnt toast. Uh, and like Retro said, this article ran on Saturday, on Veterans Day.
That's not a good time to run that article. All that's going to do is piss people off. And that's probably part of the reason why they did it. Um,
It's anyway. Calm down, Shroom. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Kyle Greenberg is associate professor of economics at West Point's Department of Social Sciences. All right. And Mark Duggan is the Tri One director of the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research for the Wayne and Jody Cooperman Professor of Economics at Stanford University. So if he's at Stanford, chances are good he's a pretty left wing individual. And anybody who is Department of Social Sciences, I wouldn't exactly call them I'd question whether or not they're very conservative in their social opinions to start with. So, uh, West Point's catching a lot of flack for a lot of their stuff that they're doing right now anyway. Uh, and so's the Air Force. I was watching a congressional hearings. I don't have the video of it. I was planning on using it next week or later on this week, rather. An Air Force general up there being quizzed about what is a polysexual, what is a non-sexual, what is this, what is that, and his answer to all of them was, well, I don't know, and I think that this is something yada yada yada, and this Congress critter, I almost want to say it was Matt Gaetz, was sitting there saying, wait a minute, you've got this in the Air Force Academy. You're teaching this to your Air Force officers, making them learn it, and you don't know what the hell the terminology means?
yeah.
You've got special programs. You got special programs for people who self-identify as this, and you don't even know what the terminology is, and really made them. Uh, that was about all that I had a chance to watch uh, before I shut it off. 'Cause on the weekends, I tried when I'm home with the wife on the weekends, and the wife is home, and we're sitting. I try to stay off of YouTube and away from that kind of stuff because I want to. I don't. I don't want to be in a bad mood when I'm with my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, um, we. I've talked about. I opened up the stream with this. We went out shopping this weekend. And they had, the old fashioned photo booths that
Yeah.
you, right? Well, okay, let me see if I can find this again. There it is. There was a old fashioned, let's see, open image in this tab. All right, there we go. All my tabs are all bollocksed up because I had to, with me dropping like that. But here we
Listen to you
go.
speaking all British.
Here we go. Ran across this Marvel Adventure Lab. Now, we all know about people self inserting these comic books.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this here is truly self inserting. You go in, you sit down, and you have your picture taken, and then they insert you into a comic book. Let's see, there's a Spider Man, Doctor Strange, a couple of Thor comics that you can put yourself into. And I just thought that was all kinds of funny. So I took pictures of these and sent them to Jack.
Oh, yeah. He'll like that.
Oh, he loved it. He loved it. It was hilarious. I have no idea how much those things cost. I didn't even take a look at that. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, there's no need to have a bad feeling about it, Ramen. It was just, who wants to insert themselves into a superhero comic book?
Well, if you were a kid or something, that would be like a lot of
Yeah,
fun, that sort of thing. But if grown adults are doing it, then I have kind of issues with that. So,
I, it's,
uh,
oh, I would imagine somebody's done with their junk there, Ramen.
oh yeah, I can imagine there'd be some pretty spicy pictures.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would
I
imagine
wonder
there's
if you can
been.
helicopter it in front of Thor.
I wonder how much boobage was shot inside of that thing.
Who knows?
It's like the old Disney ride where women used to flash at the Splash Mountain,
Yeah,
right?
Splash Mountain. Yeah.
And yeah, and the one photographer or the people that printed out all the pictures and everything got caught with hundreds of copies of the pictures in his personal collection. He wasn't printing off just one copy of that picture now. He printed out a couple of extras. All right, I gotta show that this here is just for fun. This here's just, well, it's just to make fun. just to make fun, I found that this was on Twitter. Come on, share it. Here we go.
Thanks for the rose from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for the rose from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm from the LGBTQ community. And I stand with Gaza, even though I will be executed if I will step my foot in there. I stand with Palestine, even though I don't know where it's on the map. I stand with Palestine, even though... Go educate yourself. You're not educated. That's Islamophobic. That's Islam... Oh, me? I don't hate Jews, I only hate Zionists. It's the same thing. Oh, me? I only care about Palestinians' human rights because it's trending on TikTok. But I don't really care about Israeli human rights or Syrian refugees' human rights or North Korean human rights or Ukrainian human rights. I live far away from the conflict in a very secure place, and I've never been afraid for my life or got any family members who got kidnapped to Gaza, or had a few young friends of mine that went to a party in my country and never returned. They were raped, tortured, and slaughtered. Here are the names and photos. I never had that. I live in a very, very far away place, and I still tell you, educate yourself. I don't care that you live in Israel and you see those horrors every day and you have friends that you lost. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself.
Her voice was grating
Irritating.
on me.
Yeah,
Yes,
but she's correct.
she did a perfect imitation, though, didn't she?
She did. She's just as annoying as all those irritating TikTokers.
Yeah.
So for that, I give her props.
Yeah, I gotta give her a 10 out of 10. Uh, so, are you getting ready for Thanksgiving yet?
Um, we are not having Thanksgiving at home this year, so
Oh,
we will be hanging out with some neighbors.
yeah, Dar's cooking. Dar's there messing with his pots and pans.
No, I'm not. I don't cook.
Oh,
Everybody knows
okay.
that. No, I'm sorry. I have a metal. Uh, have one of those. What is it called? Let me see. The Mira water bottle. It's made out of
Oh,
metal. And I was taking a drink very brutally, but for that I apologize.
was it? I started looking at my cast iron, getting my stuff together because I took my pie orders and bread orders and everything last week, so I'm starting to get all my cookware together because some of them I haven't used in 6 months or so,
Right.
and so I've got all my some of my cast iron got looking kind of grody over the past 6 months because, like I said, I haven't even touched them in 6 months. So I've got them sitting in vinegar and baking soda and water solutions, and got to start recuring them and get them ready to start baking in. That's my project today. Get all my cast iron back in shape. So I
Well, go you.
started that 5 o'clock this morning. It, it's an all day process to strip your cast iron, just to get it back down to bare metal again. But
Yeah, the grate on my Kamado is cast iron.
yeah, so
And of course, I haven't used it much this summer, so you know what I'm going to be doing.
yes, you're
I'm
gonna
going
be
to have,
you're gonna be doing exactly what I'm doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just too lazy to go to the store and buy lye. That's why I'm using vinegar and baking soda solution.
That's what I'm going to do.
So I'm
I
just
have
too
no
lazy.
reason to buy lye.
I'm just too lazy to go and buy lye. And my big 12-inch skillet, I've got it on the stove at low heat with the vinegar and baking soda in it. That low heat helps strip it off, helps it work that much faster.
Yeah.
A little bit more expensive because running up the electric bill with having the stovetop on low, but yeah, better than letting that thing sit there for 12 or 14 hours before it gets done in 3 or 4 hours, what normally takes 12 or 14 hours. So, but other than that, my son come by this week and told me to told me to go ahead and make certain I've got another freezer available because in 2 weeks he's got a full deer and a whole pig coming my direction. So working on getting a freezer. That's a process. But then a, a whole deer and a whole pig that take care of a lot of my beef for the year, a lot of my meat eating. No, Ramen, I'm not going to kick Dar.
Why? Yeah. Why do you need to kick me so bad, Roman?
Yeah.
Oh, for deceptive prep? No, I don't cook, dude. You know that. I've said that before. Come on,
Yeah.
Roman.
Well, yeah. Well, you do cook as long as it's at the grill.
Yeah, but that's different.
So work potlucks. It depends on who's at that work potluck. What kind of cooking capabilities these people have.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Potlucks are always kind of, I don't know. I don't go out of my way to avoid them or anything, but I do get a little leery sometimes.
I get very leery at potlucks because I've seen the way some of these people cook at home. And there's some people's homes you just don't eat at.
Yep.
You know, uh, or even worse, I've seen underneath some of their fingernails. And no, I do not want to eat anything that those hands have touched. That's exactly it, Ramen. You're playing Russian roulette with getting food poisoning. So let's see. Oh yeah, well, I, you sit there and you look at the general cleanliness of the individual, and you have to wonder about when they're generally cleanliness when they come to work, and you have to wonder what their homes are like. Well, I mean, when they got 2-day old BO on them when they walk into work,
Yeah, if they haven't showered in a couple days, you definitely want to avoid whatever they're cooking.
you just don't trust their food. Don't trust their food at all. But anyway, so what else you got anything else here for the table today there?
Oh, it depends what you want.
Doesn't matter because I was only figuring for an hour long stream today until Retro got me pissed off with that article.
Yeah, I like retro. There, I knew there was something about them I
Yeah. Oh, Retro was on the stream the other day.
like. Oh, really?
Yep.
You know, this is the first day I've been able to listen to anything or do anything in a long time.
Yep. Uh,
I mean, I've been busy, been under a lot of pressure, and it's going to be kicking up for a while. So that's all I can say. Is just a lot of pressure, but that's all right. I'm made for it. I can handle it. If you don't have to, don't take meat or dairy. Stick with veg. Oh, despite I love you too, Ron. So no, actually, there was something really quick. The whole Veterans Day thing with the free meals.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so you know, I don't want to say this in a way that's going to piss anybody off because I know we have quite a few. Um, uh, I
Vets.
don't want to piss off any of our veterans in our audience because we do have quite a few and they're really good people. But the whole Veterans Day thing to me has gotten more about the free meal and the discount at places than it has about actually celebrating veterans. And this whole, thank you for your service thing, and but they don't really, nobody really wants to interact with you or anything. Just kind of bothers me. And then, all these guys who all year long, right? They don't do anything, don't say anything. Then, but boy, come Veterans Day, they put on that I served hat and they are lined up for free chow. That just kind of, that whole thing just kind of makes me, um, kind of interests me. I just don't know. I don't know if I should be upset about it or if I should blatantly ignore them, but most of the time I do. And yeah, they really don't do anything, like you said, Ron. Yes.
Yeah, I see. I'm pretty much the same way. I don't take advantage. I don't go out there and take advantage of them or anything. I don't. Um, like my mechanic gives me a 10% discount because I'm a veteran.
Right.
All right, but I
Which,
think
that's pretty normal.
but I think he'd give it to me anyway since I've been using this mechanic now for over 20 years, and he gives all of his long-term customers like that. If you've been there for 10 years or more, he pretty much gives you a 10% discount
Right.
regardless.
Yeah, but
You
still,
know,
it's still kind of a cool thing, to be recognized, right? And
right.
see, and that's the point I'm making. All right. So, and Neil, yes, Neil, you're absolutely correct. You are you you summed up in a few words what I was trying to say in way too many words. Um, because I do go places where they offer military discount, and a lot of times I ask for it. I say, "Hey, do you guys offer a military discount?" Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. I don't make a stink about it. It's like, all right, cool. And then I go on about my life because that 10% is not like the end all be all or anything like that, right? But it's
Here that 10% barely covers the sales tax.
exactly, yeah. That's kind of basically it, right? But it's still the thing about. But I don't go like um I don't go out of my way. You know what I mean? I don't raise a stink about it or anything. And then on Veterans Day, right? I avoid all the places that are offering free meals. I just avoid them like the plague, because there's all like these foreign outs talking about how great they did in the military and all this really cool stuff and all this kind of stuff that they did in their 4 years. And like pay attention to me, and You know, and it's like on Memorial Day when people send me stuff. So,
Oh,
you know, that's kind of my thing.
okay. This is all right. I don't. Did you hear about this kid, Jonathan Lewis, out in Las Vegas? He was a high school kid that got beaten up by 15 black kids,
Yeah,
and he died last night.
yeah,
And there's been none of the, even though it's on video, none of the kids that beat him up had been arrested, have yet to be arrested. And ouch. But as I'm sitting here looking at Ed Cranstonstein on it. Uh,
you can always count on Cranston to say
yeah.
something stupid.
It's horrible. This kid was okay. Cranstonstein. Let me share it. So I almost wish Monkey had never introduced me to this character. My life was so much better before I knew he existed. It's horrible this kid was killed. I can't imagine what his family was going through. Yes, he was white, and those who beat him were black. This fight is no indication I'm aware of having anything to do with race. Well, let's put it this way. How many times is it that, was George Floyd? Did those cops do that to George Floyd because he was black? Was that anything dealing with race? No. But did it become race simply because Floyd was black and the cop that was kneeling on him was white? Yes. Why? Because a black man died. I
Yeah,
find it ironic that the end wokeness account that constantly complains that woke people make everything about race is making this tragedy about race. Remember this kid for who he is. Stop trying to turn his death into some kind of circus. Unless he fought those that are attacking him because of his skin color, stop making it about skin color. And the little bit of reading I'd done about this, the reason why he ended up in this fight was he was protecting a smaller kid from them 15 kids.
yeah. So, well, you know, here's the thing, man. Is Cranston's quit making about skin color unless it fits our narrative.
Right.
You know, that's their whole thing. And you know, you can always count on them for bad take.
Oh
Yeah, you're
man,
right. Lucky
I'm
for
just
even introducing us to them, man.
I'm just disgusted with it. You're right, Neil. But that's a 2 hour stream in and of itself, and I don't feel like getting into another 2 hours on that today. Um,
What's that?
and anything that is negative towards a black person only happens because they're black.
Right.
You know, there's a guy on out there. A black guy wears a wolf's head. That he does short YouTubes and such, calling out the black community for stupid for
Right.
different, like when you get uh, 5 or 6 of them running into a store and doing a mass shoplifting, or you got somebody goes into a Walmart that's in the hood and then complains because everything in the health and beauty aisle is behind locked plexiglass. That to get out makeup or wigs or eyelashes or anything else, they got have somebody come get it for them. Why? Because that kind of stuff gets shoplifted a lot.
Yes, it does.
You know, so it's like you go into what went into Home Depot. No, went into a Lowe's. But one of the few times I've gone into a Lowe's here recently, and all their drill bits were behind plexiglass. Every one of their drill bits, all their small tools attachments. You had to get somebody to come, and they had 3 or 4 people working up front there. So I mean, it wasn't like it took a long time. But they had to come back and actually hand you what you wanted, or they took it up to the register and they kept it in their hand until you paid for it. So it's when the stores are starting to lose money because this stuff is walking out the door, the store's got 2 choices: either take care of do what they gotta do to keep in business and stop the stuff from getting stolen, or close up and go out of business. Close that store down. Exactly, Ramen. You're exactly right. Was it is it Detroit or Chicago that's talking about opening up their own grocery stores because so many have gone out of business?
Yeah.
City ran grocery stores because they've all gone out of business in so many different areas of their town, of their city, because nobody, the shoplifting was so bad, the theft was so bad. That's just that's just when when businesses got to do what they got to do to. I mean, they're not there to lose money. They're there to make money. But speaking of cities like that, how about Mayor Adams? And
What about him?
all of a sudden, the FBI is raiding his campaign staff, and now they stopped him when he got back in New York and confiscated his cell phone. They got into his limo, made his security staff leave, got into his limo, and took his cell phone from him. That is I mean, all of a sudden, when he starts bad mouthing the federal government over immigration, he is, let's see here. Mayor Adams, City Hall asks FBI to cease leaks of campaign financing probe. Oh, man, when all of a sudden, hey, Mayor Adams, guess how Trumpist feels, Trump's not allowed to say squat or else he gets fined by judges. Meanwhile, Adam Smith is allowed to say anything and everything he wants to. Well, Mayor Adams, these are the same people that you like bashing Trump coming after you now. So I, you have to wonder exactly how crooked was Adams. Feds probing Mayor Adams' text messages to the New York Fire Department on behalf of a Turkish group. On behalf of the Turkish government. So, eh, like I've said, said before, anybody in a government position is going to have a level of corruption. At what level is that corruption too corrupt for them to be in that position anymore? I honestly do not believe that there is a single person ever to hold any kind of position of authority that didn't have a bit of corruption in their soul somewhere in their dealings. Exactly, Tyre. That sword cuts both ways. So, yeah, you piss off this administration and you got the FBI coming down on your ass. It's at least it swings both ways as far as both parties go.
Yeah, yeah, they're only stealing bread to eat. Come on.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely a two-tier justice system in the United States, and we're feeling the effects of it now.
Oh, and,
So much for fair and equal justice and all that. That ship has sailed.
we haven't. Yeah, that ship sailed years ago. That ship sailed a long time ago. Well, anyway, it coming up on 2 hours here, and I've got some other things I still need to do. Like I said, I've already started, and I've got a couple new recipes I need to experiment with.
Enjoy.
One of them is called I think it's called an invisible apple pie or invisible apple loaf. You actually cook or invisible apple cake, apple loaf,
Right.
but you actually slice up apples, but the apples dissolve into the batter as it's baking.
Yeah.
So it's a new recipe I just found, so I'm going to try it. I had some bananas that was getting ready to go that I had to use, so I baked those up yesterday. Used my hamburger bun molds and made some banana buns. So I'm going to make up a banana syrup and try it with it. But Retro, Tyre, Nil, Ramen, I want to thank y'all for coming out. Dar,
What?
thank you for coming onto the stream today. I'm glad you found a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry
been a
I was
minute.
not more engaged, but
Oh, I, I, you're always welcome. You know that. I'm always happy to have you guys on. So, any words of wisdom before we head out of here?
yeah, my words of wisdom are this: have all the fun you possibly can, because you never know what's going to happen in the future.
Yep. And the only thing I gotta say is, people, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Try to keep a separation. Like I mean, I'd really do try to keep a separation on, especially on weekends when I'm around my wife and if my son and grandson are here. Uh, I stay away from the news. I stay away from all that other crap, and I just spend time with my family. And that's what I did this weekend. Is I spent as much time this weekend was family weekend. I enjoyed the hell out of myself. So, as always, guys, be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. Later, all.
Later.